Hey everybody, I'm Jason, the Career of the Army Showcase and host of the Tabletop Battlefield over at tabletopbattlefield.com. And even though I got a pot of boiling water behind me, we're certainly not making any food in this episode of Green Gaming. Welcome back to episode 5 of Green Gaming, the show where we try to take an environmental approach to miniature wargaming. So, usually that involves taking a bunch of trash items and building something cool out of them, or maybe take some more, quote, natural items like various grasses, dirt, and things to try to find various projects with those. Today we're kind of doing somewhat of an ironic project, actually. Let's show what we got here. It's actually kind of like an oil tanker. So it's some kind of tank that holds some very nasty, horrific chemicals. Oh, we can try to take the tape off. But how you're going to do this is you're going to start actually with some type of small can. I got two different types here, depends on what you want to use. I've got an 8-ounce tomato sauce can, and I've also got a little bit smaller mushroom can. So the first thing you got to do, whichever kind of can you use, I mean you can go with larger cans if you want, the size really doesn't matter, is you got to get the labels off them. So that's what this boiling pot of water is here for. Because I mean, if you follow our Twitter feeds a while back, Ryan was a bit concerned as to why I was boiling cans in our kitchen. This is why. So the boiling water will help get these labels off. And also, if I hold this thing up to the camera, it's really kind of crusty and nasty in there. Because obviously, you just kind of wash them off a little bit and toss them in my recycling bin. So what you're going to want to do, take the cans, just carefully toss them in there and make sure they sink to the bottom. And be very careful doing this because obviously boiling water does burn you, and if you hurt yourself, it's your own darn fault, not mine. So now it's been a few minutes. It's actually only been about 2 minutes to stop recording. And the labels have already started to come off, so what you can do is very carefully, and I stress very carefully, once again this is very, very hot, don't burn yourself, don't do something stupid. Very carefully go in here. You may want to take the pot off the actual burner that it's on so it kind of cools down a little bit. Let's move it over here just for a little bit. So that way the water's not so much splashing around here trying to fish in here for the little labels. The labels should remain relatively intact. I'm just using a spoon here and just kind of pulling the labels out and setting them off to the side. You really don't need them for anything, so I guess just find some other kind of cool use for them. Let's see, there we go. Just like that, all the labels came literally right off in the clink. And we should go ahead now. Let's put this guy back on the burner. I'm just going to let them go for another 10 minutes or so. And that'll kind of finish cleaning them out, get a lot of the dried food and other garbages out of there. And they'll be ready to use in our project. So we'll just come back in about 10 minutes and just see how things go. Alright, so the can's been boiling for a while now. It's probably been about 15 minutes or so. And they're pretty much done, ready to go. A lot of the stuff that was going to come out has pretty much came out, and they're better cleaned up. Not perfect, but they're better. So what we're actually going to go ahead and do now is turn off the burner and just let the thing sit for a while, because there's no point in having to deal with hot burning water if it's not necessary. So we're going to go ahead and just turn off the burner, and probably take the pot then and put it on another burner, like that. And we're just going to let it go for probably another 10 minutes, let the water cool down so it's nice and cold. Or if you want, maybe go ahead and empty the water out in the sink if you want to do that, take that approach. But just let it go for a while. Don't try to retrieve the cans from the nearly boiling water right now. So alright, everything's pretty well cooled down now. I've got the cans out and they're in my hand. Obviously, the easiest way to get them out would probably be to pour the water out once everything's cool and you kind of reach in there and pull them. But obviously only do that when it's cool. Don't try to reach in there if it's still hot. What you're going to do now is we're actually going to go back over to my table and we're going to finish up the project from there. So let's head over there and we'll see how things go. Alright, so we're back over here at the table. I've got the can I just kind of cleaned out and boiled. Still water dripping out of it, but that's going to be expected. The other items you're going to need are, surprise, surprise, food packaging. This is going to be used as the base and also kind of wrap around the can to kind of hide the little ridges in the can. Some Elmer's glue for gluing stuff. And really just some masking tape and scissors. So first things first, let's cut open this box here so we got a nice spread out in front of us. And now what we're going to do is go ahead and wrap the can in the food packaging such that the clear side or the white side, whatever the non-artwork side, is going to be on the outside. So what you're going to do is lay the can down on its side here, line up the open end of the can with one of the edges of the food packaging and the tag board, and roll it up like this. So you're going to find that it's like nice and tightly rolled up. You can see the can top down in there. That's all nice and neatly rolled up. And what you're going to do is taking a pen, well, it's all still rolled up, and very carefully kind of trace around the top so you kind of get an idea of where the top of the can is at. And you probably won't get a very good tracing. You can see here it's only a very light line. You can see it all. But it's enough for me to go ahead and do a little cutout of it. So now we're going to decide just how big we want it to be. Now we're going to decide how long this piece actually has to be. So once again, you're going to go ahead and wrap the can in it. We want to wrap it in the way we want to wrap it this time. So this time I'm wrapping it in such a way that the non-artwork side of the food packaging is on the outside. And wrap it around like that. And you want probably about maybe a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of overlap. So if I hold this thing up very close to the camera, you can see where I started wrapping it. And you can see how this point here is all over. This section here is all overlap. We're going to draw a line here. It's about a 1/4 inch of overlap or so. And we're going to cut the cardboard off at that line. And now take some Elmer's glue and kind of smear it all on the inside of the food packaging. There you go, a whole bunch of glue. Starting down. Once again, let's go ahead and let's roll it up for the last time. And make sure you always put a little bit of glue where they meet. And what you're obviously going to find is the glue is not going to instantly hold. It's white glue. It's not like super glue or something. So this is where the tape comes in. You want to get your tape out. Take about 2 pieces of tape here and stretch them across the overlap section. And this will go ahead and hold it all in place. What you may have to do is once you've got this tag board glued on, the ends there may be a little bit of excess tag board around from the can. So what you want to do is go ahead and just use your scissors and cut the tag board to be nice and flush with the can. So you got a nice flush cut like that. So you can see now it's nice and smooth with the edge of the can. And the last step here before obviously the painting and everything would be to cut off a relatively square or rectangle piece of tag board. And here you go, really simple. Place this can down like this, and then go ahead and trace it out with a pen. Take a little bit of Elmer's glue and run it just inside the circle you drew. So don't obviously run it on the circle because that would be outside of the can. You want to run the glue just on the inside of the circle. Like that. Stick the can down and let it dry into place. So I'll just take a couple hours to let it dry. And when this whole thing is dried, you can go ahead and remove this tape. But the trick to removing the tape is you want to remove it in the direction that the cardboard is wrapped. And that's really about all there is to it. You want to go ahead and prime it up with some basic primer, give it a few coats of paint, a little bit of flocking. And your little oil, nasty, disgusting chemical tanker is ready to go and for use in your battles. Once again, I'm Jace, and thanks for watching this episode of Green Gaming presented by the Tabletop Battlefield. And for more information on the world of miniature wargames, whether it be Army List, news, reviews, tactics, or other crazy projects, or if you want to post your own content, head on over to the Army Showcase at www.tabletopbattlefield.com, and thanks for watching.